And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Conquest, it's Key Adam of the Cone. It's great seeing you guys. Welcome to another episode of Arnold HoloNet News. The only news you'll ever need because you have no other choice. My friends, the little baby's still sleeping, so that means we can keep a chatting away this evening, my friends. We're on video number 2 for this evening. Maybe it's the morning, afternoon, I don't care. Because you know why? No matter what time of day it is, it's great to be in the Empire today, 25/8, my friends. Today we're talking about, in this video, Maz Kanata's kit reveal, the next Conquest unit for Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. And I know a lot of you guys are maybe feel a little snoozy with SM33 and the Pirates, but you might be a little bit more interested in Maz Kanata because she's got this 3-letter acronym that I love and breathe for in this game. G to the A to the C. Do I need to say anything for the, I don't know. People always ask, why do I wear the tactile scanners? 1, it's always bright, and 2, days like today where I'm like sleepy out of my mind. You guys can't tell. I'm running on minimum brain power. No, you guys probably already knew that. But anyways, enough about me. Let's talk about Maz Kanata. I recommend you guys, if you haven't already, make sure to check out my previous video where we went over probably the more important news for pretty much everyone out there. Check that out. Huge quality of life change and more to come this year, allegedly. But now we turned the page for Maz Kanata. Now that we just unlocked SM33, I'm hoping to get back into the streaming routine. You know, maybe this week. We'll have to wait and see. You know, the baby's got to be fed every 2 hours or so. And, you know, me and the lady of an alder, and we kind of pass the potato back and forth a little bit. So I want to be able to do some SM33 testing. So stay tuned. Hopefully maybe Grand Arena SM33 testing, and we'll figure that out. Again, big, great changes in my life. Just got to figure out how to kind of readjust everything to kind of go with the new flow. But with Maz Kanata, we are going to be using her for the second pirate team. SM33 seems it's going to be more tailored towards Hondo. As they kind of describe it, Maz Kanata is going to be her own thing. So, leader, support, pirate, scoundrel, smuggler, unaligned force user. Caught me off guard a little bit, however, looking at the kit. I'm not sure she's really going to synergize well with unaligned force users beyond the tag. It's sort of like Asajj Ventress has the Separatist tag, but, you know, it doesn't really work with General Grievous, right? And, of course, as everyone knows, incredibly important for the Order 66 raid. Her and Hondo teaming up, taking down clones, my favorite moment of all time. Let's put the jokes aside. I don't know. Do we still... Are memes for Order 66 and Pirates still in fashion? I don't know. For me, it's always going to be the Order 66 raid. Greatest thing of all time in this game. Anyways, I just want to kind of move on down. Where was it here? Straight down here. So, Conquest unit. No, she is not unlockable until after Hondo goes live. We were kind of told that it looks like Hondo's showing up next month. Is she his Conquest lifter? This is the important thing right here. Maz and Hondo are meant to be the leaders of 2 separate pirate squads. SM33 works well as Conquest lifters for both pirates, so a lifter to a Conquest unit. Go figure, people. But it seems like it's going to be more like this here. Check it out. We're excited to see what iterations you all come with, but internally we liked using the Force Awakens adjacent pirates with Maz, Ithano, the GOAT, Quiggled, Kix. We'll be doing that video for Kix later on today. I'm actually kind of excited for Kix. Clone Trooper Pirate not really many other cool combos like that. And the pirates are the skeleton crew, Brutus, Vane, Captain Silvo, and I'm assuming SM33 are going with Hondo. And when I envisioned Hondo coming to the game, I definitely envisioned it being more Hondo and the pirates we saw in the Clone Wars, but I guess, you know, they wanted a bit more variety in there, right? Okay. So Maz, of course, will be using Order 66. I would be surprised if she wasn't the most important character of all time, and we got a lot of anti-Sith stuff cooking in here. So let's get down to business. And of course, per usual, before we even get the character, it's already broken. Things are already broken. But let's just get straight to the basic here. Steadfast shot. Deal special damage to target enemy, inflict them with healing immunity. Kind of nice. And it's kind of like Luther's got the healing immunity in the basic, right? Always nice having that there. And you get pinned for 1 turn. If the target enemy is a Sith, the healing immunity and pin can't be evaded or resisted. Now, one thing that we're going to see, she's got a lot of anti-stealth like mechanics here. It kind of makes you wonder. Again, I'm kind of maybe looking too far ahead. Maybe they're trying to set her up as, again, maybe like a Supreme Leader Kylo Ren Darkseid Vision Rey counter, because, you know, I might be reading too much into it, but, you know, when I think of Sith, right now, Darkseid Vision Rey's on the top of my mind because of all the data crunch shenanigans. Anyways, I might be thinking too much into it, but let's just keep reading. Maybe we'll see, because, you know, she's got stealth. Healing immunity might be nice to kind of work her down as well. But anyways, she's got eyes everywhere. Cooldown of 5, special 1. Dispel all deals on pirates and smuggler allies. Nice, solid cleanses. I like it. Listen, no one can be mad about a cleanse. I wish it was for everybody, but it's for pirates and smugglers, which of course, that's likely where she's gonna be squeezing herself in. And then here's where you kind of start seeing the fact that even though she's an online force user, you're not really gonna be seeing her partying with Seer Junda and the crew, right? If all allies were pirates and there were no Galactic Legend allies at the start of the battle, so kind of making sure you don't use her with Hondo specifically, and maybe even like, again, she has an online force user tag, maybe the thought would come across, hey, use her with Rey. No, she's kind of doing her own thing. You're gonna call all pirate allies to assist, dealing 40% less damage, but they gain 50% to have their cooldowns reduced by 1. That, my friends, is gonna be a lot of fun. Oh boy, lots of turbo to be pushing through these veins here. But we're not done. Hold on. Keepers of the Secret, Zeta, Omicron, cooldown of 4, and there are those beautiful words, Grand Arena. Yeah, baby. I know. SM33 territory, Omicron. No worries. Grand Arena Omicrons are back on the menu, boys and gals. Maz Steel Stealth. I'm loving this whole philosophy of stealing, although I wish they called it plundering. It's a bit more pirate-like, but all right, whatever. Maz Steel Stealth resets the duration and grants it to all non-tank pirate allies, and she steals 1 stack of profit that she granted to enemies from each enemy until the end of the encounter. Anti-stealth, I know I feel like maybe anti-stealth is one of the unsung heroes of this game. You know, like for example, everyone's trying to figure out ways of going about the Dark Side Vision Ray Datacron shenanigans, right? I love using Mace Windu because he handles the stealth so easily. So having a way to steal stealth and be able to use it for yourself is nice. If all allies are pirates and there are no Galactic Legend allies to start a battle, so of course, F you to Hondo as well as Rey. Inflict all enemies with 3 stacks of exposed for 2/3, and the target enemy's cooldowns are increased by 1. That's kind of like Darth Nihilus ability 2.0. There, you're increasing cooldowns and also putting a big chunk of exposed on it. Yeah, and you know what's even better? Can't be evaded or resisted. It's always one of those things like, you kind of wish Nihilus could work through that foresight. No worries, Maz Kanata's got you covered, but guess what? The Grand Arena Omicron's got a few more deets to drop in here. While in Grand Arenas and there are no Galactic Legend allies, if all allies were pirates at the start of the battle, Maz steals an additional stack of profit that she granted to enemies from each enemies until the end of the encounter, and all enemies have their cooldowns increased by 1 instead. But hold on. If the target enemy had lost all 5 stacks of profit given from Maz, you Deathmark them until the end of the encounter, which can't be copied or dispelled. If the enemy already had Deathmark, set the target enemy to 100 max health until the end of the encounter. So this is one of the things that kind of makes me a little bit annoyed at Jocasta, because Jocasta, what is she? She's got like order 67, whatever it is, 65. I can't remember the number. So she can like put someone's max health to 65 or whatever it is. But it's only temporary. And it's like, I really had a lot of use out of it. This is until the end of the encounter. That is a big difference there. If target enemy was a Galactic Legend, inflict them with Armor Shred instead, okay, whatever. Nothing too special there. But I like the fact that this max health stays until the end of the encounter. That's a big deal right there. Big deal. But of course, you got to work your way up there. You need the 5 stacks of profit given for Maz. But now we have lot words. Lot words equal lot better is usually my philosophy when it comes to this game. Let's get to that unique ability. Ancient Wisdom, Zeta Omicron. The maximum cap for profit effects is removed from Maz Kanata. We see right now, things like Athano, whatnot. We kind of have a low profit ceiling. And what was one of the things I said? It's like the profit thing is cool. But if you're a pirate, what pirate caps their profit? What pirate works of reasonable wages and reasonable plundering? Not a lot of them. So now we move all the stacks of profit, and boom, now we're talking a different ballgame. From the light Athano testing that we did, we saw that when you give stacks of profit to Hondo, OG Hondo, and Nest, they're able to pump some damage out there. So I want you guys to just understand, this is actually a really big deal. I think Athano had like a stack of 5 or whatever it was at most, something like that. This is going to be a bigger deal. But anyways, at the start of the battle, if all allies are pirates, so again, no online force users, she gains 100% counter chance, 75% critical chance until the end of the battle, and 20% max health and max protection until the first time she is defeated. And remember, a counter chance, okay, she's gonna be popping that basic quite a bit here. The healing immunity, pin. Nice stuff to have. Nice stuff to have on just the counterattack as well. But if there were no Galactic Legend pirates at the start of the battle, at the start of Maz's first turn, each encounter. So this again, telling Hondo to buzz off. You have your own fish to fry. You're going to grant all non-pirate enemies 5 stacks of profit, which can't be prevented until the end of the encounter. Huh? 5 stacks of profit, you say? I feel like we just talked about that a moment ago. Oh, yeah, that's right. When you have 5 stacks of profit, yeah, you're throwing some Deathmark on these fools. This right here, again, I know pirates weren't probably like the top of people's stuff, but you can appreciate from a kit standpoint, this sounds pretty neat. With getting Deathmark out there pretty frequently, cooldown increases, But guess what? We got more to come. Whenever Maz critically hits an enemy, she steals a stack of profit from that enemy until the end of the encounter. Whenever an enemy loses all 5 stacks of profit, Maz Kanata gains a bonus turn. And remember, she can basically, do this and target 5 stacks or more until the end of the encounter. If the target had 5 stacks of profit given for Maz Kanata, Deathmark them. Yeah, this is going to be a big deal. Tying in with this, because when you're able, where did I go here? Yeah, whenever enemy loses the stacks profit, she gets a bonus turn. So I suspect she's gonna be doing some crazy stuff. Be able to quickly take a turn, be able to get the Deathmark on the enemy with this right away, getting more cooldown increases. So you can see how that bonus turn is gonna work really, really nicely. But anyways, let's keep rolling here. While in Grand Arenas, what more could you possibly offer me? Oh, how about this? 5% mastery whenever she gains a stack of profit for the rest of the encounter. And the fact that it's an uncapped stack of profit, you can see how those rookie numbers are going to dial themselves up a little bit, right? Whenever an enemy loses a stack of profit given for Maz, they also lose 5% offense, capped at 25% max, and 5 speed, also capped at 25 max until the end of the battle. And then whenever pirate ally inflicts any debuff on their turn, they deal true damage to all enemies once per turn. This damage cannot defeat them. So you're going to want to be spamming debuffs on the enemy here. And again, even the Siege said that there could be a chance that SM33 will be able to do some funny stuff. You have all these stacks of damage over time that you could be throwing on them, right? Okay. 5 stacks damage over time. So I can see where they're going from. The SM33 could be good in this team, as well as Hondo. But now we have more words, more better, people. It's getting more better. The Pirate Queen herself, Zeta and the Omicron on top of that at the start of each encounter. And if there were no Galactic Legend allies, but don't worry, Omicron might address that problem. All pirate and smuggler allies are immune to fear, and they gain foresight for 1 turn. Okay, we're speaking my lingo right now, but come on, give me some more. Whenever Maz gains a stack of profit, all other pirates gain 1 stack of profit until the end of the encounter. Okay, come on, give me some more sugar here. Whenever a pirate ally with retribution uses a basic ability, they ignore that enemy's protection. Okay. That sounds nice, but Siege, you gotta do more for me. How about this? Whenever an enemy attacks at a turn, all pirate allies gain 5% turn meter. So again, this is we've been seeing this kind of a lot with some of the newer big teams, trying to bake stuff in so things like Imperial Troopers don't just roll over them. So being able to get them to get turn meter is nice. Attack on a turn, even beyond Imperial Troopers, right? A lot of teams attack on a turn. Pumping that turn meter in your veins is always a good thing, for the most part. Sometimes getting turn meter is bad, like against Galactic Legend Ray. Speaking of which, I want to talk about this right here as well. If there were no Galactic Legend enemies at the start of the battle, if there was an enemy Sith pirate, if there's an enemy Sith, pirate allies take reduced damage from % health effects. And whenever they target an enemy Sith with an ability, they deal 300% more damage and ignore protection. Again, just hold on with me about this whole Galactic Legend thing. Keep moving on. 30% more damage, ignore protection. You can see where we're kind of building up here too. And at the start of each Sith enemy's turn, all pirate allies gain foresight for 1 turn. Okay. So this seems like, I don't know how many people have been complaining about not being able to beat Malgus, right? We're past the days of Malgus being the king of Grand Arena. But again, it's an option on the table. Maybe Treyas sometimes show up. But then things get a little bit more interesting with this Grand Arena Omicron here. While in Grand Arenas and there are no Galactic Legend allies, pirate allies gain 30% max health, max protection, 30 speed. That's some chunky stuff right there. Whenever a pirate ally scores critical hit, they gain 5% tenacity until the end of the encounter. Stacking, of course. And if a pirate ally is instantly defeated by a non-Galactic Legend enemy, Commander Ahsoka Tano, that enemy is Deathmark for 1 turn, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. And if a pirate ally uses an ability on their turn against an enemy with this Deathmark, you guys can read that, right? In case you guys are listening to this in audiobook format, yeah, they just get instantly defeated. We're not going to play this game, hit the Deathmark 5 million times. No, if you have Deathmark, we're just instantly defeating you. This is serious stuff. Oh, small clause at the end. You know, I guess I'll read it. The condition of no galactic legend enemies at the start of the battle is removed on this ability. Yeah, so what does that mean? This clause against Sith becomes a lot more interesting against things like Supreme Leader Kylo Ren with Darkside Vision Rey. Darkside Vision Rey is a Sith. Remember that, I know we use her for first order purposes, but she is a Sith Lord. That could make it a lot easier to take her down. If you could just completely just target her, 300% more damage, ignore protection. Sounds nice, and they got anti-stealth right on this team. And furthermore, just looking at other things, this seems like this could also work against things like Jedi Master Kenobi, but hate to say it, man, what doesn't work against Jedi Master Kenobi nowadays? A lot of ways of manhandling Jedi Master Kenobi. We are long past, what is it, 2021, whenever Kenobi came out, he is no longer the king of the hill. That's for sure, certain. But anyways, this for me is a lot more interesting to SM33, Jocasta Nu. I am very, very biased. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of great Conquest units that are just, you know, lifters, like Darkside Vision Rey, Malicos is lifter-ish, you know, but I really have an affinity for leaders because those really can transform the course of the meta here. And seeing that she's got a pretty solid stuff here on paper, looking forward to it. However, there's a reason why I do like just kind of one-off lifter type units like, you know, Darkside Vision Rey, Bane. Is Bane really the lifter? He is the galactic legend. Anyways, I digress here. The biggest downside is to really get the full power of Maz Kanata, you need the newer characters. That's kind of the catch of having a brand new leader in Conquest, right? It's not like Dark Trooper Gideon where you bring in Dark Trooper Gideon and, you know, you kind of already have a bunch of solid Imperial remnants. You kind of need a Thano, Quiggle, Kix, potentially SM33. So this could be a 2 Conquest unit thing. But anyways, if you do happen to have the new pirates, this seems to be a very solid kit. But hey, we're not going to see this in action for a little bit here. What is it, Conquest? We just finished one. We got a few more weeks before the next one starts. So we're looking at, what is it, September? End of September, early October. Oh my gosh. We got a long way to go before we can finally see this in action. But overall, you know, of course, I'll have the pirates. If you have them, seems like she's going to be a lot of fun. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode of Arnold Holonet News, the only news you'll ever need because you have no other choice. Let me know your thoughts down below on this Conquest unit. More interesting than some of the past ones? I would say so, but I want to hear your thoughts. Not my favorite Conquest unit. There are some more that I like. But you know what? For this year, when we've been kind of having a weird year for Conquest units, seems to be a little bit better. But CG, you know, don't forget, you did tell us at one point that Conquest units didn't necessarily have to tie to an era. Just letting you guys know you got a couple months till the next one. Whenever the next Conquest unit comes, make it one of those cool one-off unexpected ones because we have one more Conquest unit for later on this year, and those are the ones that CG usually knocks out of the park. Anyways, it's great seeing you guys. Stay tuned. We're going to have the next episode of AHN talking about kicks. But until that next one, always remember, my friends, that it's great to be in the Empire today.
It's great to be in the Empire today. The sun never sets.